So welcome to episode 4 of Salucita Podcast. I want to thank all of the viewers, subscribers in the last week. It's been pretty overwhelming after the Gavino drop on Monday. We've had like the YouTube kind of blow up and
the money's finally rolling in.
Yeah, money's just rolling in on the podcast. So then that's how we were able to afford the next guest today that that I'm super excited to get somebody outside of the music world that obviously I grew up in the culinary world or the taco world. And it's funny that the whole way that we got here is that there's some relationship with Manny and Gente Fina, and you reached out to our friend Jonathan Zaragoza about getting on here. So I just want to thank you, Jonathan, for coming on the podcast.
Pleasure is mine, man. Thank you,
Yeah, and I want to ask Manny, how did this whole relationship start? And then we'll kick off from there.
So Jonathan and I, we grew up together, actually.
He was my bully, my high school bully. No, I'm kidding.
Jonathan, I've been seeing his content for a long time. Just everything he's been doing, obviously Taco Chronicles, and it's just been somebody that we connected. I seen that he's bought some support of Gente Fina, so it was just like a natural connection. You know, we kind of just stayed in touch through DMs. He had some issues with some clothing pieces, so
a lot of
complaints.
There's no issues, man.
That's the problem. That's the problem with being accessible for Gente Fina. I get a lot of the complaints directly to me. You know what I'm saying? And we just been cool, man. Just talking through there, and when the opportunity came for us to find a guest, I said, you know what, man, his content, he's good in front of the camera, he's good on the mic. That's kind of what we need, what we're looking for.
Yeah.
And what you've been doing is super dope, man.
Thanks,
congratulations on all success, and we're excited to.
Get to pick your brain a little bit.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah. Likewise. Obviously, not to, gas you up, but yeah, your brand is cool. I like what you're doing. I like that you're doing it from the voice that you're using to move that brand along. I think is very important. It's super Mexicano, and I love that culture.
Yeah.
Bringing the culture along with you in the fashion world is cool. It's dope, man.
Appreciate it.
I think in a previous conversation with Manny and I was telling him that I never saw myself as a Mexican American in a brand so much that resonates as much as Manny's brand. I feel like there's never been really made for something for people like us that were born here but would go back to Mexico and want that rancho culture or that the regional music scene, connection, or not just that, but even the stuff that you've done with immigration and pushing that forward.
Wish I got a crazy story at the airport, but
okay. But I think everything
they're
that
listening, just so you know.
But everything that you've done to this point, Manny, I think that's what's cool. That even, we'll talk about this later in the podcast, but just how the culture of the chef world too, and how they dress and they want to look. They're kind of rock stars. You guys are rock stars in your own right. Where it's also that they want to look and feel, not just how the regional Mexican music singers feel or some of the rappers that you do feel, but also they want to feel looking fucking dope in their stuff too. So
of course, yeah. That's one thing that I'll definitely say about chefs. I have huge respect for what you guys do. So I wish I could I'm always every time I watch this a cooking show on TV, I'm I'm fucking cooking tomorrow. Fuck this. I'm gonna do it now. I'm gonna go to the store. I'm gonna buy the ingredients, and I never end up doing it. But I have such huge respect for what you guys do. I think it's so dope. I think painters and chefs are just the coolest people in the world, man. So.
I think it's funny that you say it that way because it's such a creative mentality is you're looking at other things for influences. Little do you know that you're doing the same for them kind of thing. And then it's just you're humble, obviously, and I love that too. Within reason. I think that people over-index with the stay humble thing is no, if you feel a type of way about something, you should express yourself confidently and the way you want to be, expressing yourself. But yeah, man, I see you have half the battle done. You it's all confidence. If you're I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. The only thing left to do is just do it. Yeah. You could be a great cook, I bet.
Oh, appreciate it, man.
Yeah, bro, you could do it.
You got him thinking. He's damn, can I be a great cook? Yeah, dude. Especially you watch some of the videos that he does.
Yeah.
I mean, it's especially the salsa videos, and we'll get into the
fire, yeah.
It's. I mean, even as a Mexican person that runs Mexican restaurants, I see your videos and I'm dude, I should I should be fucking making the salsas at the restaurant because it is you make it fun. You're making fun. It looks entertaining and it looks
Thanks,
and I think I was telling you earlier when we met, I have a 7-year-old and an 8-year-old boy, and we've transitioned from Chef Nick now to Goatboy because
I got to put more videos out.
you do, but it is like you're making very chilaquiles stuff that like I show my kids, right? And it's like they're in a age where it's not cool unless it's like it's content or it's on YouTube or it's on TikTok because that's where they're consuming all of their. That's what they're learning a lot from.
Man.
So I think having a face that looks like my face or looks like Manny's face that my kids can see is fucking dope as a father. But as a Mexican American, it's like even like, yes, dude. Like I got to meet Manny. I've only met Manny within the last year.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So I think
And now you guys got a podcast together.
Yeah.
Damn.
I think it's like, you find people that you align with, and I think it's and when I see like people like your content or like the other previous episodes that we've done, people that sing that, I'm like, oh, dude, we're all cut from like kind of the same cloth, and in our own respective worlds. You're in the culinary world. I do a little bit of the music stuff. Manny does a lot of the fashion world, but I think it's just interesting to like learn about you guys, and I think for me too, it like fulfills something that I have too, where I'm like a curious guy, where it's like, where did you start? How did it begin? Because the more that we can get into people's ears, I think it's an important story to tell, because sometimes they just see I love Rick Bayless. I love these other Mexican, chefs that are cooking Mexican food. But what about the young guys too, or the guys that have been doing it since, I think I saw you guys opened up when your culinary kind of experience when you were in your teens?
I was a kid. I started cooking the birria when I was 12. In our backyard on the south side of Chicago. My dad, we built an oven. So I was 12 years old, I remember. And honestly, the only reason I helped out, or one of the only reasons, I'm the oldest of a Mexican family.
Yeah.
Con eso ya dije
Comes
todo.
with the territory. You got to do it.
1,000%. And then, but also I played baseball. That was my first love. And that was the first thing that I put my all into that loved me back. And I was like, oh, this is where it can go. Like, played travel ball, and I was a kid, and I was going to see like parts of the country that I was like, cool, like I'm good at this sport.
Yeah,
you were balling.
I was pretty good, man. I was pretty good. And my parents obviously supported that, but that was helping my dad was extra cash so I can like invest that into my catcher's gear and my equipment.
Yeah.
So that was my motivation to help cook. Little did I know that baseball was leading me into the cooking thing.
Really?
Oh yeah, because when I was 18, I went to Puerto Rico for like almost a summer to play baseball. But it was like work. It was Monday, Tuesday, practice, games the rest of the week. And we had a bus driver named Javi, Puerto Riqueño. He had like old school, it looked like a hot rod. This bus is like metal on the sides and stuff. And like, it had, the seats were like red and glitter, and he took care of it. But on the weekends, he'd be like, hey, we're going to do a lechon at my family's house in like the mountains kind of thing. You guys should come. And I was like, dude, I'm homesick. I love a pachanga. I'm going to go. And I saw the ritual behind it. I was like, the world was telling me, dude, you're going to be doing this for a long time. I was just not listening at the time.
How old were you at that time when you were in Puerto Rico?
18.
So, but you had been cooking then since you were 12 with your dad.
Yeah.
And learning that whole process. And then so you, from 12 to 18, what happens in your life? You're playing baseball? Are you still cooking, and you guys started straight with birria right away?
That was it. My mother is a very prolific cook. She's an amazing like home chef. My dad has a great palate. He just knows how to cook birria, the one thing. But in those years, from 12 to 18, we moved away from the city to the suburbs my last 2 years of high school. So I kind of lost, everything. I lost my classmates and my homies, and we moved. And I just felt like a fish out of water. So I was in a weird place, like in life, because it's a lot, And the reason we moved is because my buddy, there was a shooting on my block, and my best friend and I they shot twice at us. Thank goodness they didn't hit us. And my mom, like the next day, she was like,
"Getting out of here."
I'm gonna swear out.
Where did you guys move to?
We moved from West Lawn to Orland Park.
Oh yes, you went out there.
Derogatory
south.
Orland Park. No, thank you. Sorry.
But I feel like, and we've talked about this with other people too. Just like, I don't know how many Mexican people there were in Orland Park at that time, because you're talking, this is like not that many, right?
No.
And I think we talked about like the identity too, growing up and like trying to fit in. Especially when you leave an area like the city where you're like with all your other Mexican friends. Mm-hmm. Then you go to somewhere like Orland Park. Like I moved to Elmhurst. Oof. And I was like, oh, dude, this is like night and day, right?
Yeah.
So it's like and then you kind of lose a little bit of yourself, or like that. identity that you had growing up, like speaking Spanish, eating Mexican food, talking, about Mexican culture, and then you go and you try to, you're starting to wear your Abercrombie and Fitch, and you're starting,
you had money.
Yeah, not money, but you're trying to fake it. Trying to fake it.
Yeah.
And then having that like almost duality of like who we are as now, right? We're Mexican American guys, but like you lose a little bit of yourself too.
Sure.
So you move out to Orland Park now. The last 2 years of high school, you're playing ball.
Yeah.
And you're still helping your dad and your mom, just doing home cooking.
Yeah, home cooking.
Okay.
But I mean, I've always liked cooking because on Saturday and Sunday, we would go to my grandmother's house. My dad's side on Saturday, my grandmother would cook. On Sundays, it was with my mom's family, and my grandmother would cook. And I remember being a kid and always wanting to help because I just liked the energy. Like, here she was, like, cooking. When she was done with breakfast, she was cooking lunch.
Yeah.
When she was done with lunch, she would cook dinner kind of thing. It was just, that was her joy. And I remember helping out one year when I was like maybe 8 or whatever, just helping stir and peel potatoes and all this stuff. And I think for me, and I still love this about cooking, is it's like we're stand-up comedians in a way where we need the laugh and the applause.
Yeah.
Like it's immediate, that feedback loop.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of the biggest things that drew me to cooking. It's like an instant
it's a gratification,
reaction.
right?
Yeah,
like you're like, this is something I just worked on and made, taste it, and you're like looking at their face for that approval type of thing.
Yeah. And it's like one of the only things, like food and cooking and fire, like makes us inherently human. You know what I mean? It's like it separates us from like the rest of the animals on this planet. But yeah, man, that was it. And I was kind of hooked as a kid.
So when you would go to Mexico as a kid, was birria like a hot topic in your family, or what was like? Obviously, we're from Jalisco too. I have my favorite birria spots in Jalisco, so I wanted to run those by you shortly. But like, what was that just like what you guys would kind of like gather? Birria tatemado was made at the big gatherings. Was that the thing?
Not really. Birria was one of those things that you went out to go get, and specifically in my dad's hometown. My dad's from La Barca, Jalisco, and we used to go to Miguel, Birrieria Miguel, which is in the mercado there. Y Miguel tiene mucha fama. Tiene clientes por 60 años ya. He has a long time. And, but that's who my dad learned from. And the story is, when he was a kid, they were still living in La Barca, and my grandmother was cooking dinner. I think there's a family of 7 or 8. And she was cooking, and then my dad's like pulling on her apron, being like, can I get some pesos to go get some birria? Because at the end of the day, Miguel would send his chalan, or his like helper, gato, out in the streets with like a wooden crate, and on his belt was hanging a machete, or a little knife, and then on the other side was a wooden cutting board. Y así despachaba. Like that's how he would do it. And Miguel would send him out because he couldn't sell anymore in the market. Market's closing, business is slow. He's like, I'm going to make a little bit of money on the streets. And my dad asked my grandmother for pesos, and of course she was like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm making dinner right now. You better get in line. And le rezongó, le dijo, cuando crezco voy a tener toda la birria que puedo imaginar en mi vida. So he was like, whenever I get old enough, I'm going to get all the birria I can, and then
you guys
be careful what you wish for. Yeah.
Did you feel like, when that shooting happened, how old were you? 12?
I think I was 15 when it happened, yeah. In between sophomore and junior year.
Did you feel like it did anything to you, like mentally? You were playing baseball. Did it, or was it the moving part that really affected you?
Bro, it's crazy. I think it's everything, man. Like, unfortunately in my life, I've seen a lot of gun violence deaths. My grandparents lived on like 55th and Albany at that point, and that around the St. Gall parish around there. Yeah. And I remember seeing my first shooting when I was like 5 in Chicago, and seeing somebody like bleeding on the sidewalk because of it, kind of thing. And I was calloused at that point to it, because I had seen it maybe 3 times, 4 times before that actually happened to me. But when it happened, man, I remember we were 15. We were hanging out summertime. We were coming back from Dunkin' Donuts. I got an Amp energy drink. I remember it. And bro, we saw this car pull up, and it happened, and I just felt like, like in Grand Theft Auto when you're seeing the little character from on top. That's how I looked to my own self.
Yeah.
It was like out of my body. Yeah. I don't remember my feet touching the ground from running. I wasn't a fast runner. Maybe that's why. But yeah, man, it changes everything. And it's like that little moment that watershed moment in somebody's life. It's like it informs the way you move through the world. It informs immediate decisions right after that. Yeah, it changed me for sure. Yeah, it was thank goodness it could have gotten a lot worse. And people, obviously, I'm very thankful it didn't. But yeah, man, for sure, it's just like in all one thing, it changed a lot for me.
Yeah, I mean, because like you said, it could have been obviously a lot worse. But
Yeah.
I'm curious because, I didn't grow up in that environment. I know a lot of friends, unfortunately, who have. My wife, who's from Gage Park, has held her friend from being when they were shot. Like,
Yeah.
And it's crazy to think that people at that age have to deal with something like that. So I'm curious to see like how that has, even like to this day, like is it something that you're still kind of, do you think about a lot, or does it motivate you more, I guess, to like when you're doing what you do?
Yeah, it's funny that you asked that because I remember that night, like my friend and I, we were closer to his house. We went to his house and it told his parents. Cops came, and then they drove us to my mom and dad's. We were like 2 blocks away, but we were so scared. Mrs. Keene, he's Irish, my best friend, and she still tells a story like, I knew things were bad when Jonathan was whiter than Jerry, kind of thing. And it's funny, but yeah, I remember like that we had our first drink that night. My dad had bottles of tequila downstairs, and we had it, and then we cheers. And to this day, man, we always say we're playing with house money. It's a poker term, it's like somebody gave you some chips on the house, and that's how we move through life. It's like, dude, at any point, and not even violently, anything could just go quick.
Yeah.
I love the fact that your parents, like, that happened, and I think that's such an immigrant thing to do, where it's like, okay, my kids are in danger, we're getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't come to the United States to have this happen, to our kids. We came to to give them a better life and to give them a safe life, and that's why a lot of people flee other countries, I feel like, or come to make a better life somewhere else. It's like, I think that's pretty dope that your parents were like, we're going to fucking Orland Park and getting out of here, because, I mean, it was dangerous. I mean, you got a second lease at life, and I think it is. I remember, like, with my parents, like, I could have gone to, there was a public school here in town, and my parents were like, you're not going to go to Proviso East. Like, we bust our ass. We'll work harder to give you a better opportunity for your future.
Yeah. No, I mean, I give credit to my parents because even when we were living in the city, it was never apparent to us as kids that we lived in a neighborhood that would be viewed as. We my mom and dad made sure we were in sports. I used to get clowned on. I still do because I speak English this way. When I flipped to Spanish, I could speak Spanish. But it's one of those things that, like, she was really good about it. My mom never made it feel like where we were living was the end all be all. Yeah. We had our own little thing.
Were you good at school, or?
No, I was okay at school. I never applied myself. Okay. I never studied, and I would get like C's. And
do you think, like, was it like a procrastination thing more, or you were just kind of daydreaming a lot? Or?
Always daydreaming. Always daydreaming for sure.
Creatives have that issue.
Well, I think we've talked about this too, where I got the boot from college 3 times.
Really?
Manny left high school.
You never finished?
No.
Really?
Not voluntarily, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
My brother Eric, the joke is we moved to Elmhurst, and Eric went to high school, and at that point we were doing okay.
Yeah.
Like, the restaurants were open. There was a fundraiser at the school, and my parents bought like 8 tables.
Oh shit.
To make sure that it was like Eric's senior year that Eric graduated there, because the same thing, I think Eric had the same issue I had too, where it was never my fascination or dream to, like, finish school.
Yeah.
Like, I had other I don't even know what was on my mind at that time, but we had one restaurant. Yeah, we had one restaurant at that time. But I don't know. I was never, like, same thing, I think, like you. Like, I would get by.
Yeah.
But I would never, like, fully apply myself at school. I would fully apply myself to sports, going out, meeting people.
Yeah.
But it was never like, and I felt bad. My parents pushed me super hard to finish college.
Of course.
And
first generation.
Right. And that was, and I look back, but, like, I wouldn't be who I am if I did it. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'd be different. Maybe I'd be, doing something different, but I like where I'm at, but I that path was, like,
who knows,
difficult with my family.
Yeah.
And, but it was never, like, I feel like it was never in the cards for me. Like, I just knew when I was in college my freshman year, I was just like, all right, who's going out? Where are we going? Let's go hang out. But it was never about, I couldn't sit in the classroom and hear somebody tell me how to do things, I feel like.
I don't think that's the way I learned personally. Like, yo no aprendo al trancazo. Like tengo que pasar por algo so I could learn. And I think that's the thing is like you could read something in a book, you can hear something in a lecture, but if you're not living it, if you don't experience it, it doesn't stick with you as long. You'll remember it, the lesson or whatever it is. But yeah, I think for me, man, I think the biggest way that I learned is just by going through it and then coming away with something, you know?
Well, I think that you're like in the perfect field too, where it's like you have the end result is so quick when it comes with food, right? Like you have instant feedback, like you were saying earlier, like you come up with a recipe, you do it, and then you get to taste it and you get to see other people taste it and you get that feedback right away. Whereas, you sit through a lecture for, a whole semester and then it's like you take a test. It just wasn't, I think we're kind of like in the same boat here where it was just like, yeah, no, I like doing events here at Tequileria or when we do taquisas or catering jobs. And it's like, I like that interaction with people.
Yeah.
And I like them smiling, feeling good about it, and then leaving. And it's like, all right, my job's done. And it's not like, it's what fulfills me, I guess, is that instant.
Dude, I help design a lunch program called Global Eats. It's a K through 12 program. And I'm in schools now doing demos and talks to them. And when we were in school, I think you're around the same age as me.
Yeah.
But it was either you got to go to college or military. It was like one or the other kind of thing. They really hammered that through. But now it's like I'm jealous of these kids because they can do anything, and they're not preaching the whole 4-year college thing.
Yeah.
It's like their trades are a thing. Even what I do, if you get into cooking, which I think is like it's like in between. It's an art, craft, whatever you want to call it. People want to work with their hands a little bit more nowadays. Yeah. And I think that's good.
Well, and I think it's like the whole chef world is like, there's like an allure to it too, especially in the circle that you run in. Like it's like a sexy thing. I mean, it's like you guys are, especially what you've done in your career already, even though you're only 36. I mean, were you an executive chef at 22?
Yeah. I wasn't ready.
I mean, who is ready at 22? We were talking about it takes years to take over something that big.
Yeah.
So I think it is like I like that kids are learning differently now, and there's opportunities for. There was a kid here on Friday night at Tequileria. He was with Vanguardia. He was a videographer. The kid is 14 years old.
Jeez.
Good for him.
The most polite. I was trying to explain this to my wife, who's Irish, and she's like, "Wait, there was a 14-year-old kid at your bar filming." I'm like, he told me the story. He worked from the age of 10 to 12 to raise $2,800 to buy his camera and to purchase it. He took little classes. He was filming with Jaime and stuff like that and now he's getting hired to do behind the scenes stuff, vlog stuff, and it's like,
I love that.
That's dope, dude. Like, where are you going to learn that at 12 and 13 years old on how to and that's all the content creation and stuff like that you're into. Like, imagine this kid's jump start on it, that he already knows that he likes it and he just fucking did it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love it.
Did you have that moment? Did you feel like, you mentioned the lechon part like that?
Yeah, the aha moment.
You had, was that the moment where you were like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life?
I think for me, no, man. Like, I think for me, it's always been what's the next thing kind of thing.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's, sorry.
No, you're good.
Are we good? Okay.
Yeah.
I think for me, like, that aha moment was like, when I was a kid, I'll tell you a story. When I was a kid, there was a show on, I think it might have been Food Network, and there was a lady hosting, and it was one of those like mom shows where it's like, for $40 a day, you could feed a family of 6. And I remember having it on and watching it, and my mom got home from work, and I was like, hey, can you leave me some money so I can go to the store? And we had a little store outside of our block called Dean's Market. And I used to cut through this, our neighbor's house, his Chinese family's house. He used to yell at me. Peter used to yell at me when I used to go through. But I remember getting a rotisserie chicken, some bolillo, aguacate, chipotle en lata, some mayonnaise, and I made like a little sub. And that was a recipe. And that was my, when they came home, I fed my parents. And I was 9 years old. And I think that for me was like little moments like that in my life.
You look back now and you're like,
that might have been it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Uh-huh. But yeah, man, I mean, obviously, like, as a creative, you have to be open to these, like, the lessons that life gives you, I think. But yeah, I've been very fortunate in my life to have a lot of those and have that inner voice that tells me like, hey, bro, are you paying attention to this? Are you looking at this way kind of thing? Maybe a little bit too much. I kind of focus in a lot. Yeah. Whereas things that don't mean something to somebody else mean a lot to me, you know?
Do you feel you're very detail oriented?
Yes.
Yeah.
Big time.
And that's just like everything, like when you're in your content and your recipes and everything in general, or
yeah,
certain
man.
things.
Oh yeah, no, with everything in general. You know, almost to a fault. I have a video where I bought my first camera, like pro camera, when I was like 28. So this is 2018, and I still have videos from the camera test. I never posted. Yeah. And I always kick myself because I'm like, bro, had you just started and posted and been less of a perfectionist, who knows where it could be. But, you know, it's hard to look at it that way, too, because it's like I regret nothing.
Yeah.
But for me, back to the whole, like, perfection thing is, like, perfection is the enemy of progress, and that has been a thing for me in my career. Now I flipped it. I'm just like, what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
You know, like, somebody tells you no, then you move on. You keep moving, you know?
That's great, because I know a lot of geniuses, and whether it's music, whether it's in film, who are in their own way.
Yeah.
They refuse to release things. They refuse to finish a project because it's just not good enough. It's not perfect. And and I'm like, bro, you're so talented. If the world saw this, designers who are super just levels above what I'm doing, but they just don't do it because it's not good enough. It's got to look a certain way. So it's never like the right time, you know, when you're like super detailed, you know, or perfection, like when you want everything to be perfect.
Yeah, I think like they make the stakes a little too high for themselves, and I was like that too.
Well, when was like that shift?
I think it was after the pandemic. You know, it's funny because I had always said no to reality cooking shows, and I finally said yes to one that had been asking me to do it for a long time. And the reason I said no is because I don't like the way the producers can make you look on screen. I'm a little bit of a control freak in that way. But I went to go compete on the show. It was Chopped. And
wait, before you get to the show,
yeah.
How does that even work? You said like you said you didn't want to do them. You offered plenty of times? Or?
Yeah, they email you like some of the like casting agents. They'll reach out. They have your info or whatever.
And how did they find you? Where were you cooking at that time?
At that time, I mean, they've been reaching out since since I was 22, 23.
Really?
Yeah, and I just never, again, I was like in my own way maybe a little bit. But also I'm thankful for that because I had this instinct. When I was on set, I actually ended up hurting my ankle on set. And I couldn't even walk. And I was after that, I was like 3 months on a knee scooter. But it was like the world's telling me, like, you should not have done it. But I remember being on set, and one of the producers is like, can you say this line? They give you, like, lines. And I understood that she was making me out to be the villain or, like the drama king on the show. I'm like, that's not me. Like, I'm not really – that's not my personality. But she was like, can you say this line? And she gave me this line. She's like, can you say, like, there's a lot of people praying for me back home? I was like, I'm not really religious like that. Like, why am I saying that? She's like, oh, you know, Wera. She's like – oh, we're playing up the whole Mexican Catholic thing. And I was like, phew, bro, like, what are we doing? And that was like I'm thankful I busted out my ankle on the set because then I went home the next day on a plane. I was like, I'm out. But reality shows aren't really for me, I don't think. I don't think it's a good representation of what cooking really is and the way I look at cooking, which is like we're talking about bringing people together and culturally like what food means in Mexico. And it's a ritual. It's a religion almost, food is.
Oh, yeah. And I think especially the food that you cook, like when you're talking salsas, that's like a fucking staple of Mexican cuisine, or mole. Stuff that's like so rich of community and family.
Yeah.
That I think that it is a ritual. You know, it's like it's so much a part of our culture when people think of our food. So I think it's true, like going on a cooking show and like, are you going to make a mole in 24 hours? Right. No. So it's like
in 45 minutes.
Right.
No way.
So I wanted to quickly go back. So we hit you till you're 18. You're in high school. You're baseball. What happens between 18? like that next decade of your life from 18 to 28, how did people start knowing who you were in order to like getting an executive position, being a chef at 22? What happens in that after you turn 18?
Yeah, so like I worked at as a chef of a restaurant in Logan Square called Masa Azul. I was there for 2 years. After that, I did. It was a focus of mine to learn how to open restaurants on other people's dime. So I looked for projects that were openings, regardless of food.
Yeah.
So I opened up a Southern restaurant, Pearl Southern Comfort. It's not around anymore. And then from there, I met an ex-business partner who just got in trouble for some crazy stuff. But he used to come in all the time to Pearl's, and on Tuesdays I would run a hot chicken special. This is like 2015. It was called the Budlong Hot Fried Chicken. I think they're still around.
Yeah.
But the original owner would come in, and I remember him like sitting down and being like, "Hey, who's making this chicken?" And I came out, I was like, this Mexican kid making this chicken, and he was like, I want to start this concept. We should partner up, and promised me 10%, and I never signed. I was an idiot.
How old were you, sir?
25.
Okay.
But he sold for the company for a couple of million or whatever.
Budlongs?
Yeah.
Wow.
But lessons, right? Lesson learned. It's one of those things. But from there, bro, like I learned how to open restaurants.
Yeah.
I learned how to set up systems and create teams and recipes, standard recipe, all this stuff. And yeah, that was my education, because I dropped out of culinary school twice. I went to Moraine Valley, dropped out. I went to Kendall, dropped out, and then just started working in kitchens.
What was the main reason, Jonathan? What was like coming from doing the same thing, what was your rationale? What triggered you to be like,
life stuff, man? Like with Kendall, I had a falling out with my pops, and I lost the job at the Birrieria, and then lost touch with the family for a little bit, and no money.
Yeah.
And I was paying for my own school. That's a huge motivator.
oh fuck yeah, dude.
A
I
huge
didn't know
motivator.
that,
Yeah. Now, I don't really talk about it too much, but like I'm talking about it more these days.
Okay.
Things are cool, with the fam, but it's challenging.
Yeah.
Family's challenging, and running restaurants, you mix them, it's like volatile
Business
sometimes.
and family, yeah. I mean,
Homie, it's tough. Yeah, it is tough. But again, I'm thankful for these experiences,
Yeah.
And I always get the question is like, oh, if you could talk to your younger self, what would you say? I was like, not much.
Yeah.
Not much.
That's what we're talking. Like, you gotta go through stuff.
Yeah.
In order to be the person that you are today. Like,
Yeah.
as a parent now, and I remember my dad used to be like this with me, where it's like, I'm just trying to save you from like stumbling, but it's like, dude, I have to fucking stumble, because that's the only thing that straightened me out in life is falling.
Yeah.
Because it's different when someone tells you, because I don't want to listen. I want to, you were the same way, Manny. You were telling me that when you were young, your dad would be like, Miko, don't do this, your credit score, all this shit.
Yeah.
And what would you do?
man, I'll pay cash. Fuck it.
Yeah, and not fucking listen, right?
Mexicano,
And, man,
cabrón.
Yeah,
Fast-
just a wad of
fast
cash.
Te pago en cash.
Fast forward.
You give me a discount.
Yeah, I love
but
that.
But that's the.
I started my business, and I was like, oh shit, I
Yeah?
need credit. I need good credit for this. Yeah.
You're like, what? 500's not good. What?
Yeah.
The 500 sounds like a lot.
Yeah. No, I obviously, like you said, but that was me as well. Like,
Yeah.
I had to learn. You can tell me all the lessons in the world, and I know, okay, this person, my dad, he's been through it. I should probably listen. But you know what? I'm still gonna put my hand on the oven.
Yeah.
See how hot it is. See how hot it is.
Yeah,
And-
bro.
But
Yeah.
it's easy saying that now, looking back now. But it could have easily like gone a whole different direction. you
And
know?
it does for some people.
Yeah.
And that's a thing that I carry with me a lot. And, I would mention I go talk at schools, and I feel weird because I'm not one for advice, because I'm still trying to figure it out. I think we all are. But one thing I tell the kids, I'm like, they ask me like, oh, what do you recommend? I was like, look, man, like you got to follow your heart, number one, and follow your talent, because there's a difference, or follow your passion, because I'm not born talented. I worked to get skills. The talent thing is crazy to me, because like there's people that gain talent through experience and all this stuff. I don't think anyone's really born talented in a weird way. It's hard for me to like,
Yeah. But I think, I mean, just playing devil's advocate, like you have a talent. Let's say you learn to be a chef. but you're extremely charismatic and you come off. I watch your videos. I've watched a lot of your content in the last like week or two. Like, you have a talent that is
Thanks, man.
that's naturally, and it comes off. Like, I mean, you were with Benny Blanco 3 weeks ago, or at least you posted it a couple weeks ago. I mean, you're with a massive global star, and your personality comes out. You can get better, like learning how to be on camera, but your personality, like being a Mexican American, comes out when you're standing and cooking with one of the biggest stars, and he's married to Selena Gomez, or it's like that's
Crazy.
pretty fucking dope.
Yeah.
So I think there is something that you have inside of you, and Manny has inside of him, and a lot of the people that we've talked to. Now, where do you focus it on? If you focus it on your passion, which is cooking, then it's like they come together and they get married, and it's like now you have like who you are today as Goatboy, and you have 170,000 plus subscribers on YouTube, 300, 400 on Instagram, and but it's because of your personality. I mean, like, for you to stay in, I like your content, then my kids like your content. So I think
That's crazy.
It is cool. I mean, picture that, dude. My kid's 8. My kid's like, oh, you're going to go do the podcast with Goatboy today? He took notes. Actually, I brought him here the other day.
Come on, man.
This is cool. I'm going to send you the notes that he took because he was sick from school.
Classic.
And I was like, all right, come on.
That
Yeah.
was you when you were a kid, huh?
Oh, yeah, no, I just wouldn't say anything. I would just walk out.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. As soon as the teacher said, shh, be quiet, I was like, all right.
Deuces, I'm out.
Yeah.
I think, Fernando, were you here when, my son came, Fernando gave him the iPad, and I'm like, hey, mijo, like, watch some of these videos. We're going to have Jonathan Zaragoza on, the videos that we've been watching. He's like, oh, I'm like, take notes, and that way I can ask him questions.
Dude.
So he was asking me about, no, isn't that neat?
That's
I even
crazy.
got like, oh, that's neat.
I get emotional, man. That's great.
It was cool, man. It's a cool moment, especially like, I grew up with a lot of immigrant Mexican people around. Growing up in El Estadio, this was a bar before, and I would grow up like the old school dudes, right? And now to see someone like you, like, doing content the way that the Americans and the Mexican Americans, and my kids, I would say they're American Mexicans.
Yeah.
And they're consuming your content, like, that's cool for me. And I've never met you till today.
Crazy. I mean, that to me is nuts, dude. Like, it happens. There's moments that it happens where I get recognized and stuff, and I'm like, this is freaking crazy. Like, it's wild. I was in LA for work, and I'm going through TSA, and I had my earbuds on, and I was taking them off, and this huge TSA agent is like, I hear him, and he sounds like, remember in the cartoons where the parents would sound like, boom, 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 boom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I take it off, and I'm like, I thought he's telling me about something of the way I'm organizing my bin and stuff, and he's just like, salsa guy. And I was like, oh, dude, that's crazy.
That's dope.
It's so cool, man. Like, you just never know who your like audience is, and you're reaching, or any of that. And I think for me as a creative, at least in my book, like, I create stuff that I think is cool, and that's how I approach it. I think once you start creating stuff for other people, it's like what makes you good is your unique voice. The reason what makes Gente Fina cool is this is the way I see it. It's an expression of me, of the culture I grew up seeing from Durango and all this stuff. That's what makes it cool. Obviously, you pull influences from what's hot right now, obviously, fashion-wise or
market.
content-wise, what
Yeah.
people want. That just makes you a smart person, I think, is just to make sure that you have your antenna up and you're seeing what's good right now.
Yeah, and I
If
think
you want to do it for a living, anything in life, really, I mean, you have to see what's...
you got to tap into what's
If you want
current.
people to give you money for what you're creating,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to understand how the market works a little bit, you know what I'm saying? So
I think
it's not the fun part of
Yeah.
business, but if you
It's
find
part of it.
you find a passion.
Well, Manny, you were saying last week when we were filming that you made a piece and you're like, dude, this piece is so dope. Like, it had almost like a rosary around it, and it was stitched in. And I'm like, well, why didn't you make it? Or he's like, because people just didn't buy it. It was a badass piece.
Yeah.
Beautiful. You used it for like a fashion week or something like that, right?
For
and then you're like,
it was knitted. The rosary was knitted on the fabric.
Sometimes I'm sure even when you make a video, you're like, killed it.
Yeah.
And then it gets like, 5% of the viewership that you normally get. You're like, and then the most random video you do. I saw one that you did like curing a molcajete.
I was about to say, yeah.
I do my homework. I watched that shit last night, and I'm like, how does this video have 600,000?
It's crazy. And it's so funny. You're right. Some of the recipes, because I focus more on the recipes. And like I said, my fiance, Jennifer, she's really good about, being the audience, hey, like, are you looking at this kind of thing? But me, I'm like, I'm very opportunistic because it's expensive to make videos, especially if you're buying double ingredients for swap outs and stuff. You're.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to think about it. Yeah, it's crazy. And then production and editing.
Oh yeah, your editing's like top notch.
Thanks, man. It's Sean, my editor, bro. He's incredible. He's just got good sensibilities.
Yeah.
And that's another thing is like collaborating with people that are, I wouldn't say like-minded, but see things similarly to you, but have a little bit of a different taste palette.
Yeah.
Is very important. And being vulnerable enough to trust in that person and be like, yeah, I see it that way. But you just never know what's going to catch. And I cite Sean. There's a video when I was editing my stuff. I'll be honest, I'm very vain. And I'm just like, I don't want to show this part of it or whatever. It's ego. It's what it is, It's like I get in my own head a little bit. But I made a frijoles de la olla video, and if I was editing it, I cut this part out. And I remember like getting emotional because I'm at the end of the video, I'm tasting the frijoles de la olla the way my grandfather used to make them, and the way he ate them, salsita verde, quesito, tortilla mano.
I saw this, yeah.
And then he just, he was that's his food, And I remember we lost him during COVID. I bit into it, and I never got to say goodbye to him. And I bit into it, and bro, it took me back. Yeah. Like, you talk about the Ratatouille moment. It took me back. I'm on camera, and I got emotional. Yeah. And if it were up to me, if I'm editing it, I cut that part out. Mm-hmm. And when Sean gave me the edit, he texted me. He's just like, this is the way I saw it. Let me know what you think. And I trusted him, and he left that part in. And I can't even tell you how many comments I got on that one specific thing of me just being vulnerable and showing people that, hey, I'm human and I get caught up too.
Yeah.
And that is one of the coolest things is that Sean left that in.
And it's, it's relatable. Like, who hasn't lost somebody and either listen to like a song that my grandfather used to sing, and when I hear a certain song, it reminds me of him, or like with you and food, or Manny, like you just, if it's okay to say, you were just in Durango, your grandmother passed away, where it's like,
bro, sorry to hear.
Yeah, man. And I think
my condolences.
Thank you.
And I think it's like we're all going through that stuff. We're in our late 30s, early 40s, where like that stuff happens. But it's like, how do you keep their memory alive? And you're doing it with the food. And I think it's hard. It's easy to cut it out, right?
Yeah, that's the easy thing to do.
The easy thing's to cut it out, and the hard part is like putting yourself out there. But I feel like just like consuming your content like crazy the last week, it's like there's just it comes through so like you're like you're one of the dudes that it's like that you're human, right? And because it is so weird now, even like this podcast that we started a couple weeks ago, a young guy came in here the other day at the Tequileria, and he looks at the barrels. He's like, "Hey, that's where you guys film the podcast, huh?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, dude, you watch?"
That's a great background.
Thank you.
Yeah,
it's dope, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, he's like, "That's really neat, man." And I was like, "Oh man, like it's interesting because they see you on a camera, or they see you behind, on YouTube, and it's like, I get to touch these people on a weekly basis because I see them but like for you, like you have to convey yourself so it's to come through to the camera so people can feel, you're a regular dude that's just really fucking good at cooking."
Thanks, bro.
And it comes off, man. I mean,
Is that part of the plan, or is it just you're just being you in front of the camera? Not to saying you're faking who you are on camera, obviously, but
give us your
if you're on
secrets.
camera, you add a little sauce to it, no pun intended. But
Nice.
salsa.
I paid
a
the
little
big
salsa to
bucks.
it. But like, was that part of the plan when you started doing the content?
I'm still learning, man. Like, I'm still learning how to be more comfortable on camera, and but I'm working on it. Like, it's a thing. Is like anytime you're doing something, you're learning. And I think like for me, like I look at menus I used to cook when I was a kid, like 22, and I'm like I'm reading them, and I'm like, oh, let's try hard and all this stuff. And it's like, but no, like that kid was trying, and he was setting the tone for me now. And I think it's a privilege to not only age, bro, but to be able to look back on a body of work and critique it. And I'm at that stage, and I hope that never ends. That internal feedback loop that I have is continuing, man. Like, I think my work ethic and my attention to detail, I've harnessed it in a way where the engine keeps putting it out. And I always tell Jennifer and Sean, I'm like, we got to just put points on the board. Like, we just got to put videos out, and on to the next.
Yeah.
And if you spend too long editing something and in the minutia of that,
Picking at it and picking at it.
and at what point you could do that forever. But where's that leave you? It's like, no, it's a balance. Like, we're putting stuff out, but we're working on stuff. And then, people are feedback like, hey, the audio's messed up in this video. I was like, all right, cool. Like, we'll fix it next time. Yeah. But it stays up. I don't take it down. It stays up. And I'm just like, all right, cool. As a reminder, like,
I got to get better.
I fucked that up 2 years
But
ago,
I think that's just like the human element of everything. I feel
Yeah.
like people like that resonates with people because when things are so overproduced or so, it just sometimes or like so edited.
Yeah.
It just comes off as like, not disingenuous, but it just comes off like, oh, cool. Like, but like, I honestly want to see your stuff. When Manny puts himself out there too and you do these videos, I could tell that they're like, Manny, you got to do a video. You're like, all right, hey guys, come out. And that's who you are, man. Like, you come off so like,
super chill.
And that's who Manny is, and that's why I wanted to do this with him too and just talk to people because I think it's just like,
but respectfully, not because there's people that are like nonchalant that they don't care.
oh no.
You care, but you're chill.
absolutely.
But you're chill about it.
Of course.
Whereas I care, but I'm like, my energy's like up here with it. I'm intense. But you need both. Like, you need people like that, man. Yeah.
No, it's been dope, and I wanted to touch on. We talked about your culinary, from 20 to 30-ish. Mm-hmm. What was like going back to Jalisco? Would you guys go like as a family? Were you guys going like every year? What was your childhood in 20s like? And what did you pull from going to Jalisco?
Mm-hmm. So, like I mentioned, I played baseball, and if you know anything about Little League, like the season ends maybe a month before school starts. So then, you have a little summertime with your family. But my mom and dad, from like the ages of 5, I think I missed a summer in between, but from 5 to 12, my pops would send me with his parents because they were snowbirds. They'd go 6 months, come out.
Your abuelitos. Okay.
Correct. But before the winter, they'd take a trip during the summer to prep the house and make sure it's good, and then come back real quick. It's like 2 weeks. So I would go driving from Chicago with my grandparents to Jalisco.
What was the vehicle? What was the mode of transportation?
So the first couple of years, it was a Dodge White Caravan, 1995.
Minivan, right?
Minivan.
Yeah. I remember those.
Yeah, I think the first year was a white Ford Bronco. We took a weird trip to California.
White Bronco.
Nah, that's for the old heads. That's an OJ
That's
Simpson
1992 reference.
We had a black one. We used to go to
I remember the white Bronco.
The black Bronco, two-door.
So then you hit the Caravan.
Yeah, and then later on, my grandpa had a Camry, like a burgundy Toyota Camry.
In a car,
bro. And I remember one of the first years, I would like kick and scream because we were gonna spend time in La Barca, and I would be like, I wanted like a McDonald's or something or whatever. And I remember the first year, he stopped in Guadalajara for me before heading to La Barca, and he got me a McDonald's Happy Meal, and he's like, this is the last time you're gonna have this. He's like, and then I was eating what they ate. And dude, every summer that was my education. And the first year I went kicking and screaming. I hated it.
How old were you, do you think?
5 or 6.
And you would go with your grandparents?
Little, dude.
How would your sibling? We established you have 4 siblings, all within like 5 years.
Yeah.
Was there ever a point when all 4 of you were in a car together driving down, or not really?
No.
Okay.
I think Andrea, my sister, came out when I was like maybe 8, and then she came down on one of those trips with the grandparents. But I look back on them now, and I'm like, man, like little did I know, I'm like I was treasuring those moments now, like,
oh yeah,
I would give a lot to have a lunch with my grandfather and grandmother in Paz Descansen. Yeah, I mean, my grandfather, I credit him a lot with my passion for cooking. I mean, and those two, my grandmother and grandfather, Jesus and Esperanza, she was an amazing cook, bro. And I'm very lucky that I have a cousin that used to help her at her house in Mexico because when she got older. But Carmela would help her cook. Carmela's young. She's like 40, late 40s now.
Very young.
I mean, that's young. But my grandmother, she taught her all her recipes.
Oh,
so
dope.
I still have somebody that I can cook with that teaches me. And I go to the market out there. I go to the Mercado and I buy stuff, and I cook with her. I'm like, hey, teach me how she used to make this. And I sit there and I cook with her, and it's cool.
What a dope memory. I was talking to Manny about it too. Like we grew up across the street. we would load up in a van, and then that's like the similar story. That's why when I saw your whole story, I was like, oh, this like I feel like we kind of grew up similarly. My dad would be like, take a cousin, take another cousin, and then me, my brother Eric, my brother Sergio, my mom, my dad, and we just drive from here every Christmas at least. And we had a van, but we drive all the way down. And I just remember those memories
2 days,
now.
yeah.
2 days, yeah. Or
Yeah.
we'd like, can we make it to Texas day one? And if you made it we'd pass the turnpike, and it's like, all right.
We're
then
here.
we sleep, hit the border the next day, and then drive to Guadalajara.
Yeah.
So we're from a town called Juanacatlan, which is 30 minutes from the airport. So we're a little bit, you're on like the east side of Lago de Chapala,
Sí.
and we're on the north side.
Yeah,
We're
we'd always stop in Chapala.
badass,
Always.
right?
It's beautiful, bro.
Yeah.
My grandfather loved it there. He lived there for a summer, and he would swim that lake.
Yeah.
He was just like, and then caldo miche.
Yeah.
That was his favorite thing to eat. But there's a place in Chapala that has some of the best menudo I've ever had, like cleanest menudo I've ever had. Beautiful broth. Tortillas a mano that are, I always say the size of my head, but I got a big ass head. They're like that big.
What's the name of the place?
I don't even know. It just says menudo with a Coca-Cola sign.
That's how you know it's good.
Yeah.
So now you would go as a kid. When did that stop, or does that still?
Yeah, it stopped. Baseball took over, and then I didn't really go back to Mexico until I was about, I think I went back when I was like 20, like 24.
Big gap.
Yeah.
Bro, yeah, big gap. But again, baseball was my thing. Like I might have gone on one trip here and there, but I can't remember it. But yeah, it was a long time. But distance makes the heart grow fonder, and I experienced Mexico through books and reading and learning about the history and stuff. And that's what I am now. I'm a bookworm. I love reading a lot.
Yeah, I could tell like a lot of the content you put out, and even talking to you today, like you have a lot of knowledge about a lot of things. I feel like not just cooking.
Yeah.
I feel like I wanted to ask you too, like I emailed you and I'm like, hey, Jonathan, you could bring your guitar because I saw this video of you playing guitar, but then I saw some other content on Taco Chronicles with your whole family. You guys do all of you guys play strings?
So my dad, I think he's like the first musician in the family. He's a bass player, and he grew up playing in bands like cumbias and all that stuff. And like, I think in the late 80s, he opened up for like Selena and stuff at a big festival. But him and his band, bro, Oasis Musical, they're huge, man. They're cumbia dudes,
Out of Chicago?
Out of Chicago. And then my
Oasis.
sister, Oasis Musical. And then my sister, Andy, she has a band called Anfang. She's a lead singer and the guitarist, but she writes all her stuff. She's super talented, man.
She's a writer, wow.
Bro, she's talented. They're great. But ella's más rockera. She likes to rock. And I'm more like the, singer-songwriter stuff. I like the acoustic stuff. But I like music, anything. I
saw you like jamming out to like Ray LaMontagne.
That's my guy.
What about in the Mexican world, like music wise? What is your like family parties look like? Who are you guys listening to?
I like obviously the mariachis. Like Chente was always huge for us. Jose Alfredo Jimenez, obviously Pedro Infante, the old school like mariachi type guys. I remember, my grandma used to watch all those old school black and white movies of them.
Wasn't that cool how they used to do it? Like if you were a phenomenal singer, the way that they would get their content out is they would make movies with you.
Yeah.
Pedro Infante, to promote like the album.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be like one big ass music video.
They were like Elvis. I mean, honestly, Pedro Infante was like the Elvis. Like, I mean, he was in a bunch of, and now his granddaughter is a mariachi.
She's good.
I like her, Lupita.
She's really, Lupita. She's got a great voice.
We're gonna figure out a way to get her to Chicago. I've been talking to our friends, Jose and Angelica. They're performers here in Chicago. Well, they're writers and performers, about trying to get Lupita out here because I feel like she would do great in the Chicago market.
Huge market for Mexicanos, bro.
Oh yeah, and she's in I think she's in Los Angeles or San Diego right now. But like, picture like her grandfather was like the man. So then mariachi is still a thing in your family. You guys love that.
Yeah.
Did you ever get into like?
Were you always into like the music, or was it like something that you were like, oh, here we go again, making?
No, man. That was always it was one A, 1B at the family parties. It was like food and music, and that was it. Like, what else do you need?
Yeah.
Booze too.
Yeah, I'm like,
we're
we're missing one.
as he takes a sip of his
Topo Chico,
drink.
one very big element.
Yeah. But it's everything, man. That's the culture, right? And I mean, my dad would host and mom would host parties. Classic. Mom would marinate the carne asada. Dad would be on the grill cooking it. All his buddies would come over, his baseball buddies, because my dad played good baseball too. He played semi-pro, D1. He went to UIC here, and he would invite all his buddies. So I'd have my tios from Mexico there, his musician friends, his baseball friends, and it was always like summer, reventones. It was great.
That's badass.
Yeah, man. I mean, do you listen to music now while you cook? Or?
Oh yeah. That's the one thing about videos, bro, is like I hate that I can't listen to music while I'm filming because I need the audio to be clean. I much prefer, videos where I'm playing music and I do voiceovers so I can listen to music.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one thing about content creation. It's very lonely. It's like, stop and go. It's unnatural to film yourself doing something like that.
Yeah, that's true. For me, like I always tell people, like, man, no matter what I do in life, if this doesn't work out, bro, you put something Duranguense on, I'll work whatever the fuck I need to work. As long as I got some music,
you jam out.
I'll work all
whatever.
fucking day long. Like I could be on a sewing machine from day and all night. As long as I got some music in the back, some banda, some norteña, some Duranguense, some hip hop as well. Like you throw that in there, I'll work all fucking day and night, bro. I don't know what it's music is just.
What's so ingrained in us, I think the way that we grew up, or like I remember when we do those drives to Mexico, like we would listen to music nonstop, or Juan Gabriel, Los Bukis,
yes.
And now what's funny is I hated Los Bukis growing up,
of course,
because I feel like my parents would play it so much, and now that I listen to it, I'm like, oh, this shit's fucking great.
It's the nostalgia part of it. It's like
that helps.
Huge,
I think because it brings you back, like when you taste something, or when I hear something or I smell something.
Yeah.
Like I was gonna ask, like when I go back to my dad's hometown, and we get to the rancho, and I smell like it just rained or something. You smell like the tierra mojada, and I'm like, dude, fuck yes. Or even we have a lot of lamb. When I smell like the lamb, I was like, dude, this is like. There's just something native about it.
There's
like
a smell to it for sure.
Yeah,
as soon as you get off that plane, there's smell.
But it brings
Mine
you.
is leña. Like if fire burning, like that is. Ooh,
yeah.
Like, dude, I love
that gets y'all like ready. Like
I want to cook. I want to hang out around the fire, and it's like it's unlocking that caveman DNA thing. Just playing at that. But yeah, man, I think that's part of our culture is music, food. And the spirits too, the booze and all that stuff is very important to Mexicanos everywhere.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned that. We brought a guitar.
I'm like, you didn't bring it, but we asked your fiance to bring the guitar. So
yeah.
I wanted to segue a little bit with the cooking and all that. I've been so fortunate to meet Manny this last year and just like the whole honestly, man, the whole fashion thing. And, I saw his brand with like Karin Leon wore it. Grupo Firme wore it. But crazy. But he was telling me that the way he got kind of like into the scene in Chicago was sending stuff to chefs. And so I wanted to touch on, and you guys talk about really, because I'm not that fashionable. Manny gets me cool shit to wear, but I'm not, like, I need help, right? I wanted to see, like, what is that whole scene like? Obviously, I saw a couple videos, you're rocking his hat. You're always kind of like on that cutting edge of like fashion. How does that work? You're like kind of yeah. Well, you got to look cool in your videos, and I'm sure that's a topic of yours where you're like, hey, like I got to wear something fresh. In the culinary world, in the chef's world that you're in, what is that like? The aprons, the clothing, like what is that about?
I think for me, like I always say, like fashion or whatever you wear is like an expression of the person. It's a lot like cooking. Where we express ourselves by what we wear, by what we put on the plate. But again, to your point, like I have homies like Manny that like they do that professionally. And they're, I have another buddy that has a company, Stock Manufacturing, and I see what he has on, and he always puts me on. He sends me links, and he's like, check out this brand maker, buy it from this person because it's a little cheaper here. And it's like, it's like stuff like that. But I don't know, man. Like I've always tried to present myself, clean and you know, cool looking, maybe
Yeah.
a little bit, but now it's like it's stolen valor because I got the workwear, but I'm not blue collar, you know.
I like it though, and
yeah.
I actually when I watched you on the
Those Carhartt
Chronicles,
pants are looking a little too clean there.
Too
bro.
clean,
yeah,
bro.
there's
Yeah.
no grease stains.
There's
on
no
those,
grease
dude.
stains. Yeah.
It's Midwestern though. That's very Midwestern for sure.
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, yeah.
Workwear all the time.
I like
man.
you do a lot of stuff with like Carhartt too, right? Or
The
like
canvases,
like,
duck canvas, all
Yeah.
that.
That's
for
one of my
sure.
favorite materials.
Absolutely, it's the
Yeah,
best.
and it lasts forever. I like the way it patinas too.
Yeah.
I was wearing I'm not gonna say I was like one of the first ones to wear it. I've been wearing Carhartt aprons for a long time, and I've since I was like 25, and this is like 11 years later, and I still have them because the material's like, you know, it lasts forever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it like I've taken knives through some of the canvas, and I like the way it looks. You know, it looks
Yeah.
cool, and it's honestly it's functional too. It protects you a little bit.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, it's like thick enough material that it's like.
Mm-hmm.
Manny, on your end with like the whole thing, how did that begin for you? Were you just like sending stuff out to like people that work like bartenders and people that were like working in kitchens when you started Gente Fina?
For me, it was. I started doing pop-ups in the beginning. That's what somebody told me.
Okay.
If you want to get in fashion, you got to do every pop-up you can.
Huh.
All right, cool. But pop-ups are so fucking annoying. You got to pack everything, drive it, unload it,
Dude,
load
you've done
it.
2 pop-ups here. You're telling me that was annoying.
I know that. Those were great.
Those are
great.
fun. Those are the only fun ones.
We have a system now, like, and I
Yeah.
got help now. I get my cousin. I get all my cousins to help me
Yeah.
out now and shit. But back then it was just me, you know, me or my boy, and so we couldn't sell shit. It was just doing all these pop-ups. Some pop-ups cost money, $100 to get in, and like, so we were losing money. So we did a bomber jacket with 2 Chicagoans in the back.
Oh man.
It was the military green bomber. And it was a great jacket. It was a bomber jacket, you know, nylon, very good material, good quality. But we couldn't sell it, and I had spent so much money in getting these jackets done. I think I did like 300 jackets. That was me at the time back
Yeah.
then. I was like, I gotta get 300 of these T-shirts, 400 of these jackets,
Yeah.
and like,
They
not
just sit
instead of
there.
starting small, you know.
Yeah,
So we had all these fucking jackets sitting in our apartment, and they just took over our apartment. So I said, I gotta start getting rid of some of this shit. So when we started doing pop-ups at restaurants or at bars, I went, you know what, I'm gonna give this bartender a jacket, so maybe he'll hook me up with a beer or something.
That's why you
And
gave Fernanda some
That's why I
stuff
gave
today,
her a
so
guy,
that way
yeah,
she's
yeah.
gonna give you some free
When
shit
I come
here
in
on
next
Friday.
week, I take it. Yeah. So that was my thinking at that time. Like, I'm gonna give him his jacket. So
That's
when
smart.
either later today or when I come back to this bar, they'll recognize me and like, oh, here you go, you gave me that jacket. So you know, unbeknownst to me, like, little did I know that these bartenders were pretty popular in the industry, obviously, because they go to other bars and they go after they have the industry nights and all that.
Yeah.
So they start wearing the jacket at work because it's a light bomber, so they could wear it during work. And, you know, and I was telling you last time, and their backs are turned to the customer a lot when they turn around to charge or to grab a bottle.
Marketing genius.
Unbeknownst to him,
Oh,
but
yeah.
yes.
So the back of the jacket told Chicago was like a huge billboard.
Yeah.
And people started
Yeah.
asking them, like, yo, where'd you get that from? So then I started getting some followers and like, oh, I saw it on this bartender.
Yeah.
Or that bartender will go to like a restaurant industry night, and it would be like with this big chef, you know, who's like well known. So then he'll ask about it, and it just would spread like wildfire from there.
And that was like the initial push, right? For Gente Fina, like that's what's got you out into like the masses.
That was me trying to get free beer. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
Like, fuck
Well,
it.
that-
We all need a motivation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether it's free beer or whatever, but
Free-
that's a marketing.
Yeah.
Like that's a marketing genius scheme right there, bro. It's like you're not only are you building community by giving somebody something,
Yeah.
right, tangible, something that's like tactile, that's
Yeah.
for you, but it, you know, sure it may be because I wanted a beer kind of thing, but like, dude, that is 100% true, and also like learning, like, I'm sure you know now, like limited drops are probably better than over ordering like that, bro.
100%.
That's another thing is like I learned in my line of work is like how to market, like what scarcity, what ubiquity means for people. Like, you know, if too much of one thing is a bad thing and not enough is also a bad thing, how do you do that? But what I like about you, bro, is like you don't design for the masses. You design for the margins, which is like, this is from me. This is an expression of me. I like this workwear look kind of thing. And I don't want to speak for you, but that's the way it like looks. And it's a cool look, and you nailed your market, man. I think it's really, really cool.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, I started at first it was like, okay, I'm gonna make what are people buying? What do they want? What does the market need?
Mm-hmm.
And it became, you know what, this isn't working. I'm not selling shit. What I think is people are gonna like, it's not moving.
Yeah.
So I just started making shit that I like, that I'm like, and everybody in the Midwest wears workwear and Western wear, like all that, like combined.
Yeah.
A little did I know there's a huge market for it. All of us that
But
grew
I
up
think-
like very similar with immigrant parents.
Yeah.
They grew up going to Mexico every summer, and like, so that was a huge like connection with a lot of people. And I was like, oh shit.
And also you're
all I had to
setting
do was make shit that I would wear, and people fuck with it.
Well, you're also setting the trend too. I mean, a lot of the stuff that you put is shit that I probably sometimes would never think I would wear. I'm like, oh, if Manny makes it, it's got to be cool. So I mean, I think
That's
you're
funny.
like, it's true. Like you know, like the thing that I wore for the Red Bull event, the Banda Choque event, I was a judge with Marisol Terrazas from Horóscopos and Pepe Garza. Pepe Garza is probably one of the biggest figures in Mexican regional music. And I hit up Manny. I said, Manny, what should I wear?
Oh yeah.
He grabbed this fucking work shirt and he's like cutting it with scissors. And I'm like, what the fuck is he making? And he just made this like crazy shirt with no sleeves. I'm like, sweet.
His kids
I'm gonna
are
show
running-
I'm gonna show my biceps off.
His kids are running around grabbing scissors.
Oh yeah,
and
my kids
all
were
kinds
there
of sharp shit. I'm like,
just fucking
At
shit up.
your shop.
At the
Yeah.
studio.
And
Yeah.
I just met him, and I was like,
That was the
hey,
first time we met, yeah.
I'm like, dude, help me out. I don't know what to wear. And I just trusted him that, like, all right. I told him what the concept was, and he's like, yeah. And then I showed my wife, and she's like, are you sure? And I'm like, I'm sure. Like, this is what this is what a judge would wear at an event like this. But I think it speaks to, I think, the trust that a lot of people have in what you put out, is it's badass shit. I mean, you just dropped another line the other day with Gente Fina Sports.
That looks cool.
It's dope,
Really
dude.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was another thing that made a mistake in the beginning was I did athletic wear without any real marketing behind it. I thought I was gonna make athletic wear.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, same thing. I have a bunch of fucking shorts sitting in the warehouse and all that.
Yeah.
So, when you want to do something like that, you have to really show that, like, why I'm doing athletic wear, why I'm partnering up with Latino athletes, and, like, it all kind of just connects,
Yeah.
And that's kind of the goal for Gente Fina Sport.
Yeah, representation is huge, but also like you think about car companies and how they market their vehicles, like the new Ford Bronco. They're never taking a picture. They'll take pictures in the city, but they're always up on a rock or go driving through a creek. And it's like the odds of a Ford Bronco owner, especially if they live in the suburbs, no offense, but driving through a
I'm
creek
trying
like
to think
that.
of creeks that I could drive through. There's not many. Yeah.
Let me find out you're driving through creeks in your subdivision, or you're gonna get arrested.
Yeah.
Hey, drop the bail money below for him. But like that's how you market is like I'll pick up a pair of shorts. Not that I'm the most athletic person, but you sold the look.
Yeah.
The model looks good. They're doing something that I aspire to do.
Yeah.
That's how you
Yeah,
sell
that's how
it.
you build what he's built, and I
Yeah.
think it's like that's what's cool that you connected this because through your clothing company, man.
Yeah.
And also, the content has to be on point. I mean, this content. Now it's everything. Like, if you can have a good camera, good audio. I feel somebody said we can forgive like bad quality video, but like bad audio, like people
Shut
are
off
going
the-
to tune out.
scroll past.
Not it.
Yeah, that's
So-
all you need. You can says the guy that has like a crazy setup at home. But with an iPhone, the new iPhone, I just upgraded mine after I had the 12 for like too long. I just got the newest one because I did a talk at Apple and they're like, "Hey, we'll give you this."
I was about
like,
to ask you. I'm like, is this a sponsored ad? Because
Yeah,
I just
this
saw
is-
you at Apple the
I'm
other day.
I'm just a corporate whore.
Like, thank you for the iPhone 17.
Yeah, 17 plus. It's better than the 17. Just
Yeah.
spend more money on it. I don't know, but dude, with good audio, like a
Yeah.
little lav, I think you should do that stuff, man. Like you're good on camera. Like I think like if you did, my buddy Andrew, 316. This shirt's from him, but he does a good job of He's out of New York. But Andrew Chen, he does like the little microphone and he talks and he's in front of his
Yeah.
shop. And he just has homies come through and he like outfits them and stuff and kind of like what you're doing. I think, man, like I love what you're doing, man. It's really freaking cool. And I look at some of your silhouettes. I'm like, that's such a nice one. Like the jacket I have, I love that jacket. And the amount the first week I had it, I wore it. I had a trip to New York. We had a shoot in New York, and I wore it. And I can't even tell you. One dude on set offered to buy it off of me.
Really?
He had to be a medium. I was like, dude, just go to the site, and I think
Yeah.
you might have sold out.
Yeah, the work one.
Sell out quick.
Yeah.
That's good.
Thankfully.
No, and I think that's what's like. It's
Gracias
been.
a Dios.
Yeah, it's been blowing up, man.
Yeah.
I'm like super happy for you. I mean, honestly, and then to be able to connect with Jonathan, and also like
That's been the cool part about Gente Fina, the brand, like being able to connect with people like you,
Yeah.
with other creatives. Like I didn't fucking think I was gonna like be just doing fashion like for a living. Like
Yeah. Being in front of a microphone doing a podcast.
you know, being in front of you two
Yeah.
like mega stars, like
Yeah.
you know, like
Yeah.
it's you just never know where life's gonna take you. You know, it's pretty cool, and it's been exciting, man. So like, what do you think is what you got going on as far as the content? Like, so I wanted to ask you about your content because
Yeah.
a lot of people ask me all the time too about content. Like, well, for my brand, what do you think I should do? And obviously audio is one big one. Obviously content. Like, do you feel that pressure that you need to pump out content? Like,
I used
all the
to,
time?
and I still do in a way. You know, it's hard. It's crazy. It could be overwhelming because it's like Instagram works different than TikTok. TikTok works different than YouTube. And I talked about the cost of putting out a video on YouTube it could be pretty high if you're not smart. So I'm very opportunistic with how I film, what I have on hand as far as ingredients go. So I try to be very smart and economical in that way while still providing people with value. And that's what it is, bro, is like as a human species, like it's basically what we attribute value to. And tapping into that inherent quality that we all have is huge. So for me, like now, I'm learning to cope with it because, you know, I was on the road for 2 months. I didn't really have a chance to film because I was doing talks at the schools and demos and stuff, and that's important work for me.
where was that? Was that out here or?
Dude, we were all over. We're in the lower 48 states right now. So I was in LA twice this year. I was in Montana, St. Louis, Colorado for a week. I've been everywhere for the last 2 months. So I was thinking, man, I'm kind of like falling off on content. I'm not really filming anything. Good thing is I had the foresight. All this was going on. I kind of stacked up stacked up content in over the winter.
You don't feel like what you were doing right then and there is content?
That's the thing, right? Is like some of them it's hard to film while you're doing a demo, and if it's only me, it's very difficult, you know, because it doesn't all have to be content. I think is the thing. Content's a part of what I do. If you look at it, anything could be content.
Yeah, that's my issue. Like, because sometimes I'm like, man, I wish I could just like grab a GoPro and just film. And people tell me all the time, oh, you should have filmed that process. I'm like, man, maybe I should have.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, it wasn't like my instinct at that time to like, oh, I'm doing something cool.
You know
right
what
now.
I think though is because you guys don't see it because you're so close to it. I mean, maybe you identified it already, Jonathan, but with you, Manny, it's like everything you do is pretty fucking cool for other people because like people don't have that. They don't make clothing. They don't make art.
It's cool until they have to put in the work.
But you
carry all these bins into the truck and you got to go do this pop up.
That's not sexy or cool or whatever.
It's not. But you show that.
That part of it is very, very cool to see. I think it's important.
Yeah.
Like I think it's important because like people only see us in like certain settings, you know, on camera or at an event or whatever, and that's like a little sneak peek as to the whole picture. It's tough, man. It's very hard. But I think like for you, I love seeing you on camera talking about it because you're passionate about it, but you're also knowledgeable about it. And sitting down with you now, it's like, it's not all roses and stuff. Like you have to go through challenges.
Of course.
And I think that's the part of the content creation journey that people want to see. You know, they want to see themselves in whoever they're watching.
Yeah. They want to connect with it, and because it's like you said, at the end of the day, everything is hard work, right?
Yeah.
Whatever it is you want to do in life, you want to make a living out of it. It's gonna be hard. You got to put in that work, and I think it is important for people to see that. But at the same time, it's like I don't got time to be filming all this shit,
but
you know?
it's hard.
So it's tough to figure out that balance of like putting, because I used to do that, like, oh, follow me today, we're gonna go do this.
I just watched
and
one
like,
yesterday where you were doing one.
Yeah,
I thought it
and
was
it's-
entertaining as fuck. As someone that knows you too, I'm like, oh, this is dope.
But it's a lot of editing, and it's like,
Yeah.
how do I know what is cool to why, what's not? You know what I'm saying? But like, so it's interesting. Like for you, how do you prepare for the next episode of the content that you're gonna put out for your personal stuff?
So right now, like for cooking, I have 3 videos I want to film this weekend for YouTube because we're scraping the bottom of the barrel. And I looked and I was like, okay, people have been asking me for these certain things, like churros. I want to do a video for that on YouTube. And then there's that viral chicharrón and guacamole thing everyone does. I want to do one of those for YouTube as well. And then the other one, I'm just going to do a agua fresca de tamarindo. And the way I got to these is because I had too much canela mexicana at home. I'm like, cool, how can I work that down into something? I'm like, cool, I'll make a cinnamon sugar And it's flour and eggs for the churro or whatever. And then in the freezer, I had a pork belly, really nice pork belly. And I was like, what do I make with this? And I was like, okay, I'm going to do the viral guacamole thing that everyone does. And then, again, too much tamarindo in my dry storage. And I'm like, all right, I got to make an agua fresca. And I love tamarindo. So that designing for me, and thinking of it that way.
Yeah, and it's like not wasting stuff too. Like you've repurposed stuff.
Yeah.
Now that you're telling me like you're not, but you're pulling stuff that you have and you're not wasting anything, and you're doing it for content, and you're trying to pump it out because now you're pretty much maxed. You've used all the content that you have.
Yeah, close.
Because you've been gone for so long.
Yeah. 2 months is a long time.
Was there a moment, Jonathan, with like now, this last, like what your current situation now, was there a moment when you decided I'm going to go full blown into the content creation space? Like I said earlier, I saw you with Benny Blanco.
Yeah.
I've seen you with a bunch of athletes, which I wanted to ask about too. When did you make that decision to go full blown into Goatboy, Jonathan Zaragoza, in your face, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram?
It's been about a year. Just turned a year.
Okay.
And I kind of told Jennifer, I was like, I feel like if I don't focus on it, because I had like a lot of things going on, and I like to be busy that way. But I told Jennifer, I said, hey, if I don't go for it right now, I don't think I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I told her that, not a month later, she lost her job. And I don't think if that happens, that collaboration doesn't happen either. And she's a huge reason why we've been successful. Is the whole last summer we were just both grinding to make this thing a thing.
Yeah.
And she's great. She negotiates deals with brand deals and stuff. And she's my muse, man. Like her palate's so good. I have her try something.
I saw her tasting chips with salsa, and you were trying to test her a little bit.
She's
on which
so
ones.
smart.
Yeah,
she's good, man. She has a bartending background. I'm very lucky to have her in my life. I can always, see the point. There's a before and after in my eyes when it comes to Jennifer, and my life after has been exponentially better than before I met her. But she's a huge reason that we're successful. I trust her palate, business-wise, everything, and she's a great partner in life for me to have, man.
How did you guys meet?
We met years ago. She came in for a first date with her ex-boyfriend, and I was at Masa Azul, and the owner of the restaurant is like, Jennifer Contrabeos is coming in. She was like a rep with Bacardi, and we sent her the whole menu, and then that's how we met, and we didn't reconnect until like 2019. Yeah. So.
Quick question about your fiance.
Yeah.
Was she the one that dropped the viral video? So I'm from Melrose Park. We are in Melrose Park right now. There was a video, I think I told you, Manny, where there's like the fucking Amalfi Coast, and it's beautiful, and there's like waves hitting the side of it's on the sand, and it's like, my Italian ancestors left this place to move to Melrose Park, Illinois.
Yeah.
Did she make
That's
that?
her.
Okay.
Yeah. She took that footage. We were in Sicily.
Oh, it's even her. It's her video.
It's our video. Yeah.
Oh my God.
We were staying at this place. Again, she's responsible for a lot, but she found this it's basically a palazzo. She found it on like a rental site. It was like as much as a hotel room would cost you in Italy.
Yeah.
And we were on the sea.
It was beautiful.
Bro, beautiful. And she puts it up, and I'm cracking up. This is before it went viral, because it's like I think she's playing a Greek song over an Italian thing, and she's just like trolling everybody. But yeah, that was her.
So being from Melrose Park, the amount of people that sent me that, even though like we're very much Mexican, but we grew up with all Italian people.
Yeah, it's Mexican and Italian.
Yeah, that's what this town has been for 70 years.
Yeah, she's the perfect combo. She's Mexican.
Oh, she's both.
Both grandparents are from the old countries. Her grandfather's from Chihuahua.
Really?
Yeah, and then her grandmother's from Sicily.
That video was so everybody. I mean, it has like millions of views. Like
I know.
Tens of millions, and maybe like 2-3 million likes.
That's crazy. I didn't know that. I seen that video.
Because I remember someone sent it to me. They're like, dude, a girl from Melrose Park made that. And I'm like, well, clearly it says Melrose Park, but I wonder who this girl is. And then I was looking through your page the other day, and I'm like, oh my God, it was his fiance that made it. That's fucking hilarious.
Hilarious, bro. Yeah. No, but I think like without her, I don't think we'd do it. And without her losing her job, we don't have the time to do it. Fear is a great motivator. We forget about that. Like, before we came on, we talked about starting off with John and everybody. Like, you know, when I was starting off, I could only afford rent, a futon, a TV, and a DVD player, and that was it.
And now it's like you got to make it work, right? Like you took
even now, if I had the thankfully we're okay now. But that's probably what I would have if I had my own apartment. I would have the same
Futon.
setup.
Yeah.
Futon, TV on a crater or something like that.
Yeah.
PlayStation because it has DVDs. They play DVDs as well.
This is smart. Yeah.
So then right now, Jonathan, I saw some other pages on your social media. Are those pages that you guys are doing? I saw you have one with athletes that you're doing.
Yeah.
And then how did the Benny Blanco thing pop off?
So yeah, the athlete show that I do is called Let Them Cook. It's on Whistle Sports. Check it out for sure. But it's really cool. Like my director Max, he's great. He's a Chicago dude, and basically we've been wanting to work together for a long time. And you know, it came up where he got the job with the company Whistle, and he's like, Jay-Z, would you want to be the host of this? And I said, let's do it. And it's been great, man. Like, it's incredible being able to cook and also work with Max, who cares a lot about food. And that show is really dope because like we do a deep dive on the guests. Like, we want to know who cooked when they were younger, make a recipe from a childhood, because every athlete gets three episodes each.
Oh,
so,
really?
And each episode is a recipe. So we try to go deep dive on childhood, where like what Ma used to cook or Dad used to cook, college town, and then current city, inspiring the recipes.
That's badass,
It's
man.
so cool, bro. And you know, we've been lucky enough that it was exclusively only in Chicago. But in the past year, we've traveled to LA twice, New York, Philly. We've gotten sponsored shoots, which is incredible.
That's
and
incredible,
it's just,
man.
Bro, it's incredible.
I saw you did DeAndre Swift. That was so fucking cool.
Yeah, and it's cool, man. It's a learning experience for me because like cameras are up, and the athlete had just walked in like 30 minutes before, so you have to build this like rapport with them.
Sure.
And I've learned how to like do that with them in a quick amount of time, build that trust.
Yeah.
And I think for me is like, these athletes, they're like us, bro. It's like they come off of a, DeAndre was off the Washington loss last season where they lost on the last pass kind of thing. And that was the Sunday, and then he was in on Monday.
Yeah.
And he caught a red-eye flight.
To come film.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
it's
it's
tough.
like, oh, man, how do we get this energy? And it really just comes down to meeting them where they're at.
Yeah.
But, yeah, bro, we have a couple more coming up this year. And then the Benny Blanco thing, that's what you asked, right?
Yeah.
The Benny Blanco thing, he's been following me for, like, I think about a year. And then, which was crazy, I was like, holy shit, this is nuts. And then I saw a DM from him, and I was like, no way, it's him. And sure enough, it was.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, I would love to cook with you. I said, all right, man, like, I'm down. Do you want to do it in Chicago or LA? And he's like, yeah, whenever you're in town, let's do it. And Jennifer's birthday is in January, and we try to get out of the city around that time, because it's
Freezing fucking cold.
and honestly, after Christmas, bro, get me out.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Everything is gray and
Yeah,
cold.
Yeah. Sorry, Chicago.
We
But yeah,
love
we
you.
were in LA.
You always come back there.
I know. We were in LA, and then we went over to their house. Selena was there. She's really sweet.
I was gonna ask that, but I didn't wanna. I was like, was she there?
Selena was there, yeah, and she
Cool.
ate a taco. She's from Texas, Mexicana también. And yeah, they were really sweet people, man. And Benny, they know food. Benny knows food.
I saw did he drop a book?
He has two cookbooks.
And I saw, so he did that with you. And then I just saw he brought
Yeah.
What's the lady's name on
I
TikTok?
think Cos something. I forget her name.
Have you seen this lady?
No.
So
Well,
está cocinando en el rancho, bro.
She calls out her ingredients like loteria. Y la lechuga.
Yeah.
Y el queso.
Have you
And
seen
it's
that
so
lady?
funny because her daughter's always filming, and you just hear every time it's tres. And
Yeah.
she hits go.
She has
tres.
millions of followers.
Yeah.
But for like
I might have seen it. Yeah,
for
yeah.
Benny Blanco to have like the wherewithal to be like tapping into that,
Yeah.
like that rancho, like obviously you with all your culinary background, but what a cool thing that he's doing for like the influencers or like the cooks that are on TikTok too, to bring them on, because I mean that lady's like cooking in a rancho,
Yeah.
like comal over fire, making tortillas, like super old school.
She's so good.
Oh, it looks fire.
All of her dishes look amazing. Yeah, man. And that's honestly like I owe my career to women like that. I grew up being raised by women like that. Like I had my grandmother always had the floral apron on. And like I said, just cooking all the time. And like for me, I always think, as first generation, it's a privilege to be born Mexicano in my opinion.
Yes.
Rich culture, the food's incredible, all this stuff. But man, like it's undeniable that like our culture is built on the backs of Mexican women, and it's like to see them get their flowers at that level. It like. you know, I lost my matriarchal figure that reminded me of her, and I look at it, I'm like, man, that's so fucking cool, man.
Awesome.
It's really great.
No, that was very dope to see someone like that, because I think it like brings back memories, right? You see her and she reminds you of your tia, your abuelita cooking like traditional Mexican dishes.
True, I didn't think of it that way. That's a great way to see it.
She represents that.
And
you know?
that's why
I think it's a dying breed, bro. Is like you think that it's gonna be around forever, and it's like, dude, the next generation, you know, it's different. It's, you know, we talk about it's different, but being pulled out from the city to the suburbs, the further you get away from the point of origin, the more derivative shit gets, and then it's like, what is it? You know, it's important to keep that
culture alive and like that, especially the food thing. I think it's like, it is just so much a part of who we are as Mexican people that, and I think that's what's so dope about everything you're putting on your content. Like, you're keeping it alive. Thanks, bro. You know, and and I mean it like tremendously. Like, to see my kids enjoy something like that, man. Like, for me, when I talked to Manny, where he's like, hey, Jonathan's down. And then we all started watching the videos like a week or two ago. And I'm like, and my kids are like, it's cool. You're keeping it alive. Manny's keeping it alive with Gente Fina and putting us on the map with the clothing and all that. So I think I want to honestly just like thank you for continuing to do that. And what's the next step then? Like, obviously you're doing your content thing, the YouTube, these shows. What's the next year, 2 years look like for you?
So, yeah, I mean, first of all, thank you. But, you know, different parts of the YouTube thing, I want to do more vlogs. Bring people along with like an event. We're working on 2. I did a vlog from an Australian trip. They'll be out soon. And then one from New Orleans that we're editing right now. Just exploring different
content. Dude, that's dope, dude. Well, I think you got 3 likes at my home now. My 2 little boys and mine. And my wife, I actually 4. And I mean, it's such a pleasure to meet you, Jonathan.
Same, bro.
I've watched your stuff for years. I've known who you were through all the, the restaurant stuff. Jonathan Martinez has brought you up in the past to me too, and it's like, you should.
Shouts to the boy.
Shout outs to Jonathan Martinez. I'm so happy, Manny, that you were able to connect with him. Do you have any final thoughts on everything today, Manny?
No, I'm glad we did this. I mean, I wasn't sure where like this conversation. We've only talked to musicians. But I'm really glad that you said yes, no problem, It was no issues. So first of all, thank you, for coming in over here, talking to us. It's an honor for me. Same. I think what you do, bro, is so dope, and everything you have coming, like, is just the beginning. And it's cool to see that someone from your background that a lot of us can relate to.
Yeah, dude.
To see you doing what you're doing and excited, like, for what's coming, for you. So, man, congratulations on all the success.
Thanks, bro.
Keep doing your thing, bro. I can't wait to see where this takes you.
Thanks, man.
No, and I think to piggyback off of Manny, you're going to have a lot of young fans too. I think a lot of kids are looking at who's someone that they can relate to. There's not a lot of Mexican influenced chefs that I think that I can show my kids that talk like them, that some Spanish, some English. Mm-hmm. You're in such a good niche, and you're personable as fuck, and you're funny, and you got so much going on, man. So I think too, man, you're saying that filming and all that's very solitary. Reach out to us, man. We're not that far from where you're at.
Thanks,
We'd love to have you here. Come enjoy some music, some Gente Fina clothing. I'm sure.
Out.
Yeah, you should bring.
Eat.
Yeah, come eat. Come check out the food. Check out the music. I had a small gift for you that I wanted to give you,
bro.
Yeah,
I'll cry, man.
No. I wish it was cooler than this.
I'm just kidding.
So you said your mom was from Arandas.
Yes.
So Don Vicente is a tequila brand. Have you heard of it before?
No.
So there's a brand called G4.
Yes.
G4's out of Arandas. His name is Felipe Camarena.
Cool.
Started it maybe like 10 years ago, and that brand actually started like in the Chicagoland area.
Right, G4, I remember when it came out, yeah.
And now it's everywhere. Now it's like top 5 in Forbes and all these, they pick it up all over the place. So I was lucky enough to meet the guys that started that brand. I've gone and spent time with Felipe Camarena in Arandas. They came out with this brand maybe 2 years ago, Don Vicente. This is the Fuerte, so it's still strength.
Yeah.
Wanted to give it to you,
Damn.
share it. Yeah, no,
Thank you for the ride home. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's at least, hey, you got to put it between your legs, have a couple sips of it.
Like my grandpa, just Marlboro Reds and a little copita.
Or like even back then, or the faritos. Did you ever smoke a farito back when you would go to Mexico?
That would have killed me.
No, it would have made you stronger.
Yeah,
would have made you a better person.
My grandfather lived till he was 98, and I think he would actually roll his own tobacco cigarettes.
That's why.
Yeah, probably kept him strong.
I did
Yeah.
that for a while. I started rolling my own cigarettes. And after like 2 weeks, I was like, it's too much fucking work.
Yeah, let me just go buy
I quit
this stuff.
smoking years ago,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Thank
Thank you.
No, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure,
Thanks, man.
Jonathan. I hope you come by again soon.
I will.
I got
yeah.
a gift for him too.
Oh,
No
you want to
way.
grab it?
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
grab it.
I'm gonna come here more often, man. I'm getting styled out.
Yeah, man.
Oh, I love a tote. Is that a Gente Fina tote?
So
Oh,
this is a collab that never came out.
That is crazy.
I'm not allowed to like talk too much about it.
Dead
but
stock.
Unfortunately.
Dead
but,
stock.
This is a hat from the GFS collection that we did. Nylon hat for a camo shirt.
Dog.
Everybody likes
oh,
camo.
I got that
I
shirt.
love camo.
And then this jacket that I made with collaboration with
Is that the JP?
the JP
Dog,
collab.
I've been looking for that one.
So-
Give me
Yes.
that.
Beautiful
Damn,
satin
respectfully, please.
material.
Oh, dude, that is sick.
Satin, right?
Satin, all satin, 100% satin, inside and out.
My
Which
guy.
makes it a little
That looks
delicate, so be
dope.
careful. Don't wear that in the kitchen. That's
I'm gonna start smoking after I start wearing this. You know what I mean? Like you need
Put on the
you need to be
little-
holding something.
The little
Yeah,
hat,
yeah,
little
yeah.
hat, little cigar.
Bro,
Yeah,
this
man,
is fire.
JP is somebody who really took my brand to the next level.
Love Jimmy.
He's such a humble, super cool dude, family man as well. And so it's been an honor for me to be able to work with him. And I think this jacket is like such a Chicagoan, Italian. You know, when they first reached out to me a couple years back, the first collab we did, I was like, Mexican brand, Italian sub shop.
Yeah.
Pero se presta, bro.
But then I heard the story, the immigrant story, and their history. I was like, okay,
Dude,
this is what we're gonna.
And it's like the Melrose Park store. You lived here for a while,
Yeah.
and you have your shop here in Melrose Park.
My whole life, yeah.
The Italian people came to Melrose Park and were here forever until the Mexican people came, maybe in like the 60s and 70s.
Mm-hmm.
All the Mexicans had to live this side of Lake Street where we're at right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And slowly but surely, we started moving a little bit north until now Melrose Park 77%
Mexicano.
Mexicano. Pero that's like, that collaboration's dope. It's the same
And the
thing.
colors,
The colors are dope.
green, white, and red.
So I
yeah.
think that's
No, se presta.
that's this area in a nutshell, man.
Yeah.
so-
Bro, this is sick. Thank you very much.
That's for you,
This
Bernard.
is sick, man.
Appreciate
I'm gonna
you
wear
putting
this
up,
right
man.
now. Thank you.
Awesome,
This
man.
is. I've been looking for this. When it came out, it sold out so quick.
Yo, you're only a DM away, bro. Anything you need,
Yeah.
reach out. Bro.
I'm not like that though.
I get.
love
Listen,
supporting.
I
Are you
get
like that
it.
too?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But
I don't like troubling people.
Of course, but I mean, you're not.
You're not a regular person, Jonathan. You're
I
Goatboy.
am, though, yeah.
What's
Nah.
at the end of Goatboy? Goatboy.
You want to talk about the origin of that?
Yeah.
Goatboy, INTL. So for the cup of coffee I had at in culinary school, I remember I'm a Z, Zeta. Not like that. I'm not involved. Relax.
Oh, shit.
Shout out to this.
Oh, shit.
Cut this whole thing.
You know what? We did the whole episode. We got,
The one thing I got from culinary school, I'll say it like this: it was the nickname Goatboy, is because at the end she'd take roll call, the instructor, and Chef Altieri. I remember her. And at this point, the Birrieria was open for 3-4 years, and I was at this point I might have been like 20. So I was coming out and like, oh, the top hottest chefs kind of thing, and I didn't think I deserved it. But at school, I would just be like, I'm here to chingarle y vámonos. Like, let's go. And she was taking roll call. She's like, Zaragoza, that sounds very familiar. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. And I was playing like possum. I was like, whatever. And she's like, the next week, she threw a timeout article, una revista, on the station, my station. And this is just to me, she was being cool and respectful. She's like, you're the Goatboy. And I was like, come on. And she's like, no, it's all good, but congrats on the article. And then a week later, one of my classmates brought in another article for the Birrieria. And then he's like, dude, this is you. And I was like, yeah. And I don't know what it was. I just wanted I was all business. But then that's when she gave me the nickname Goatboy International, because you're everywhere, she said. And that's when Twitter was coming out and IG was coming out. And when I was starting my accounts, I didn't know what to name it. And that's what stuck. And it's funny because now it's like some people won't know my full name. And I'm cool with that. My full government is crazy. But yeah, it was one of those things that people just Goatboy.
Well, it
and I'm
sticks,
cool with
man.
that.
My kids call you Goatboy.
I love it.
And you're Goatboy in my house.
Love
I'm sure
it,
you're
man.
Goatboy all over.
I'm Goatboy in my house,
internationally.
too.
Internationally,
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
Bro,
Jonathan.
anytime.
It's
Thank
been
you,
dope
man. This
to
is
meet
great.
you. Yeah.
Thank you, man.
No, Manny, thank you.
of course.
This is sick.
This is fun.
Look at this shit.
This is episode 4. Thank you to everyone who's watched us on YouTube, Instagram,
Instagram,
TikTok.
TikTok.
What else we got? Apple Podcast. I'm getting better at this.
Pornhub.
No.
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans. Follow our friend Manny at Midwest Manny.
Midwest Manny.
Gente Fina. Follow Jonathan if you don't already, which most of you probably do. What are your handles?
Goatboy, INTL. That's it.
On YouTube too.
Yeah, Jonathan Zaragoza photo for my photo account. Yeah.
Consume his content. He is putting Mexican Americans and Mexican food continuously on the map with what his family has done, with what he's doing, going on YouTube, getting the content out, not just for first generation Mexicans, but Mexican and American Mexicans like my kids who are just loving watching someone that looks like them on the screen. So thank you to everybody who is watching. We will catch you guys in the next week or so. Take care y salucita.
Salucita.